Oh, good to see you. Good to be with you today. Here we are together for the Universal Family event. The thought that God is our Father and we are His children. And if we realize that more and more day by day, oh, it gets better and better. Today I want to talk with you about a hackathon. It was a collaboration, a high-tech, complicated collaboration of problem solving. This particular one was devoted to a set of problems associated with the coronavirus, having to do with reemployment, dealing with behavioral problems, mental health problems, health, sanity, and happiness problems, and so on. There were, in the end, 5 teams from Europe, Africa, South America, and North America. And we prepared for months. And there was a day, this was a very short 8-hour hackathon. They usually are 24 or 48 or 72 hours. So we got a taste. And the adventure of teamwork is what I want to celebrate. There were moments of divinity that broke through for me, and I want to share these with you. The first of them had to do with the fact that I was paired with a person with whom I'd had a certain level of friendship for years, but there were a couple of shadows there in my heart. And I realized that in order to do this work properly, I had to get past those shadows. So as we gathered to discuss our teamwork together, we each prayed, and I prayed for a new level of friendship. I said some more vague things. That's all I said. But having prayed that prayer, Kazam, it happened. I just immediately broke through. It was like a revelation of the soul of this friend. And from that moment forward, the entire relationship for me was different, very, very different. And I came to appreciate and enjoy the benefit of her extraordinary ingenuity and her high standards for all her career as a NASA scientist. Man, could she show me a few things in this. So, all right, so that was breakthrough number 1. In other words, look at the shadows in a relationship where teamwork is the order of the day. Break through with prayer and go for it. All right, the next such shadow was one that kind of landed on me suddenly in the middle of, it was a few weeks, 2-3 weeks before Hackathon Day, which actually was a week ago practically, and so all of a sudden I had a great idea for how the method might be improved for the hackathon, and I put forth a couple of ideas. I said, this may have already been taken care of. I may have a misunderstanding here, but I put forth these suggestions. And one was, well, yes, I did have a misunderstanding. My concern was totally groundless, but the other one, the real treasure in my heart that I thought was a great contribution was responded to in a manner that I found defensive and irrelevant to the content of my proposal. And talk about a shadow. This was a thick black cloud that descended upon me instantly, and I knew I just had to really work on this, and it took me hours. Maybe I was wrestling with this for more than a day, but I broke through. And in breaking through, what I learned from that, First of all, I I broke through to love, and love is everything. And love for this person just totally changed the experience. The critique didn't disappear, but it was contexted by love, and it was a new ball game. Second, I had approached this high tech, fast pace, um, basically business organizational technique with some skepticism. I joined this adventure because I wanted to learn something and see about it. So I had a bit of a standoffish attitude. Once I break through to love with this leader guy, oh, I became wholehearted, all in, as they say, and that was just so much fun. I realized that God had wanted me to do this, even though the hackathon was out of my uh, area of call as a philosopher and as a religionist. I specialize in those areas, these social, economic, political, da 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 areas. That's kind of strong sense of call. This is not in my, but it was something that God wanted me to do. And what else? I think that's all I can remember at the moment and say about that right now. And um, there was a third breakthrough, and this was, just such a minor shadow. But one of the people on the team that I worked with was he was the most rugged guy. He spoke no English, and I was kind of wondering, well, uh, just it was hard to relate with him. He's very rugged. I'm not rugged at all. So, who is this guy? And he had a very humble role on the team. His role was to sort of keep track of the purse strings, be aware of what our solution to our problem would cost. And so early on in the day, um, thanks to my NASA scientist friend, I had, oh yes, these people are recording their ideas in a MindMaster map, and we can take those ideas, put them into Google Translate, and see them in English. And so this guy's first couple of contributions were like, how much will this cost? Or, I'm thinking, golly, but then he said something really intelligent, and that got my attention. And so, my level of interest and ability to connect and level of respect immediately leapt forward there. But then there was something else. When we were talking about solutions at the end of the day, he had volunteered to take two major roles going forward. And one was fundraising, and the other was marketing. And in the reports on from the different teams, these 5-minute reports that the moderators would give at the end, there was a competitive, who wins the prize for this and that. Um, you know, I, except for one team that I'll talk about in a moment, no one else showed that quality of thinking about the practical details. Of course, you can't judge much from a 5-minute summary, but this guy was stunning in his volunteer shouldering of the burden. And so in that way, spiritually, he just knocked my socks off. I was amazed. So that was another great experience from teamwork. The last one was what I saw that had happened in actually the winning team. And it had the divinity there had obviously just surged through their entire team that entire day. It was like they had been enveloped in light, and it wasn't so much talked about and advertised by the person giving the report. You could see it in her manner. She was just so thrilled with what that joyous day had been. And there was great clarity and intelligence about the practical level of the thing. And, you know, everybody had great ideas at the spiritual level, and they did too. But it was the integration and the divine light that was so evident in her retelling and in what she was presenting to us. And that, for me, gave the stunning testimony to this, yes, I do believe, improvable hackathon method, but that it could succeed with such radiant beauty was a great lesson. So, happy teamwork. Whatever's going on in your life and in our world, always know that you are a divinely created work in progress, and oh, the Creator has already done so much for you and with you. Infinitely loved, spiritually indwelt, that gift of God's presence is there all the time. In you and evolutionary, let's grow together, free will. Let's dedicate our wills affectionately to the doing of our Father's will, as sons and daughters of the living God. Good day.